like music?
Well, you do know that he was a part of the New York, like this, he was a part of the New York game, and this particular game contributed to the Street Academy to help send young people to school. So we were with him, and that's what the game is still doing. Since the Yankees have taken over, we have sent 168 young people to college since they took over in around 75.
All right, now let me leave my card and I talk to Mr. Wayne Curry. I'll be talking. Can I get your autograph, coach?
College sports today. The second season rolls on. The Aggies and Tigers go to the big dance, while the Eagles dance to a beat of their own. And we'll spend some time with Mr. Olympics. It's our season finale, and we're putting on our best. It's all next on Black College Sports Today. Everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Black College Sports Today on ESPN. I'm Sam Crenshaw. Hey, it's our season finale, and we're going out with a bang. We're going to check in with Mr. Olympics. You want to stay tuned for that. Plus, wrap up the second season for college basketball. We'll check in with the teams that made it into the field of 64 for the NCAA tournament. But we'll start Washington, D.C. A man on a mission, Bethea believes in the visibility of our historically black colleges and universities and has developed commemorative plaques which pay tribute to our coaching legends, teams, and players.
December 27th, 1992 marked the 100th year anniversary for black college football. We were working on an angle in which we could see how we could help preserve the history of black college football. And my firm came up with the idea of the commemorative plaque collection. Some of the greatest athletes and greatest coaches to ever play the game. With some of the plaques that we've tried to preserve the history of the game, we have some of the top black sports photographers in the country. This would be a way to take the legends of the game of football and put them in a commemorative plaque collection, which would be able, 40 years from now, we would know who these players are. 50 years from now, there would be a record where we would know who these...
In collecting. Ronnie Bethea, who's been a friend of mine a long time, and of course...
No, I first started dealing with the arts when I was in East Africa, Kenya and Tanzania.
Yeah.
And when I came back here, I incorporated this into the arts and crafts, which I learned in East Africa.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, now, Ron, talking about the history of black college sports, and of course, you have a book here, Black College Football, 1892 to 1992.
Yeah, this publication is a beautiful kente cover, and talks about the history of black college football from 1892 to 1992. This was done by Michael Hurd, and who's the author, and I've been working with him, helping with the marketing of this publication on the history of black college football.
How can you get that?
This book can be ordered by contacting me at my 800 number here in Washington, and they will be giving the 800 number, I guess, a little...
Historically white, who became one of the first black coaches to coach in a historically white school down at Wichita State. And of course, he's back at South Carolina State now, and that's a piece right there you guys did. Weiss, and you guys put that together really nice.
Yes, we did. Thank you.
And 20, what is that, 20?
About 26,000.
26,000 for a 1AA school down in Orangeburg.
Dawson Stadium, they just did the renovations. They opened up this year.
Yeah. And of course, you have some other work in there. What out there? Okay.
That's called the Tigers Hitman. That's Marlo Perry, a linebacker from Jackson State. He led the SWAC in tackles in 1992 season. in the 93 season, he was a Sheraton Black College All-American. That's what we're calling this. We have come up with a commemorative plaque collection called Preserving the History of Black College Football Through Beautiful Decor Art, which this is one of the plaques. We have a total of 28 plaques.
And this kid right here starts for the Phoenix Cardinals.
Yeah, Brent Alexander. Perry also plays for the Buffalo Bills. And this kid here got quite a bit of playing time this year for the Cardinals out of Tennessee State. This is what we call the man, Anthony Cooks, SC State, the Minister of Defense. He'll go pretty high in the NFL draft this year.
A lot of these guys, then of course that's Jay Walker.
And Gary Harrell, Sky's the Limit. That's a piece we did last year and when Jay and Gary was still at Howard University.
Of course, Jay's now with the New England Patriots, and Gary Harrell
practice team with the New York Giants.
Yeah, both All-Americans at Howard University.
All members of the 1993 Black College Sheraton All-American team.
All right, guys, stay with us. We're going to take...
Good evening. It seems we've spent so much time talking about Jimmy the Greek's remarks that we often forget the question that he was asked, which, frankly, I think is the more important part of the discussion. And that question was, how come it is that there seem to be very few blacks in the front offices making the decisions about what goes on in the world of sports? And indeed, you might add to that question, how come there seem to be very few blacks in all of the marketing that goes along with sports? You see all the t-shirts and you see all the endorsements and you wonder who is organizing this and making the money off of it. And what you're about to find out is that there are very few blacks who are involved in that. And in our first segment, we will talk about one young black man who has been trying for more than 10 years to get into that aspect of business with the NBA. And in our second segment, we will talk with Rose Elder, the president of Rose Elder and Associates, whom you know well, and William Strickland, an attorney for ProServe, which is one of the 3 largest marketing consultants and agencies which represent athletes and organize sporting events. But first, meet Ronald Bethea. And Ron has been, as we said, working on this for some 10 years now, and he and I have been knowing each other for a while. He's told me this story. He's been telling it to me for a long time, and I know it can take a long time in the telling, so we're going to try to cut down on it tonight.
Yes, Kojo. Well, first I'd like to say I'm very pleased to be here on the Evening Exchange to share with your audience an experience that dates back to 1978. My firm was originally started in '77. The name of my firm is Origins Marketing and Management, promotion firm based here in Washington. And what my firm basically came up with the idea is tying in 2 industries, which was the toy industry, which according to Entrepreneur of April of 1987 was projected to do $12 billion, and the sports marketing industry, which in '86 was projected to do $6.2 billion, which is the actual dollars which corporations spent to advertise around sports-related sporting events, which we as black folks spend a tremendous amount of money as consumers in those same products.
Well, let me tell them a bit about Ron Bethea's background, because Ron Bethea was at Morgan State University in the early '70s playing football at a time when a guy known as the Human Eraser was playing basketball for Morgan State. We now know him as Marvin Webster, who was a well-known professional player. But because of him, in a way, you got into this.
Yes, that's very true. Marvin was with the Supersonics, and when I originally set my firm up here, a former Washington Bullet by the name of Bobby Dandridge was on my board of directors. We were very good friends and still are today. And Marvin's attorney was an
action doll. There it is, the Athlete Doll Collection. Now, could you explain a little bit about that?
Well, the Athletic Doll Collection was a doll collection that we copyrighted. If you can see those dolls, they have the insignias of the AFC, NFC All-Pro team and the NBA East-West All-Star team. Those insignias and those diagrams, in order to use that on the actual doll, the model of the doll, which we were pursuing getting the rights to use the facial images. We copyrighted this, but we could not patent it until we actually had the physical unit or mold. Okay, and that's what we're in trying to do. Is
detailed uniforms, every home team, and they're official. Collect starting lineup, each sold separately. To be the winner.